Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs you with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/Spotify. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation. Subscription required. Cancel anytime.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now, you're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
This is The TJ Show, and it's Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Thank you for turning your radio on. I see Kenny over there.
Hello.
And look at that. I see JBo.
What's good?
Yay.
JBo, it is so good to have you back. We missed you so much last week. And it wasn't just us. I mean, we had listeners calling in saying, "Where's JBo?"
Oh, that's so kind. Appreciate that.
How does it feel to be missed so much?
It feels pretty good.
Now, when I gave you a hug this morning, was that awkward for you? Or?
No, I enjoy hugs. It was just, I'm a little emotional. I'm a little raw. So,
yeah. Well, listen,
no.
I want you to share as much or as little as you want to share. We're going to get to that in a few moments about why you were out last week. But, you were out. And, the people around here...
Did you guys behave?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
Uh-oh.
Somebody said something that offended someone. And now the first thing I hear today is in our list of voicemails that came in over the weekend, I get this one. And I can't even fully remember what this was about. But I'm pretty sure it was probably something to do with Heather. Because, Heather was on your microphone last week.
I doubt that.
Hi, this is Kimberly, and I'm from Barrie, Vermont.
I love Vermont.
And I wanted to correct you on the hardest job in the world is being a mother, because your child is so dependent on you for so many years.
But did someone say that it wasn't the hardest job? Was that you, Heather? Because I feel like that was something, we need corrections when JBo isn't around.
I mean, I don't think I said it specifically on the air,
maybe
Heather. I did. I don't know.
Oh, you know what it could have been?
I don't think it was her.
Kenny and I talk about how our dads are contractors, and that seems like the hardest job to us. Maybe we said something about that.
Yeah.
I knew it had to be y'all. There's no way Heather would have put her foot in her mouth.
As having lots of different jobs in my life, that was the hardest job I've ever had in my life. And I just wanted to correct you on that, because you made a statement that something else was the hardest job. And
yeah, it was probably contracting.
Probably that, yeah.
But also, I see what my wife does as a mom, and I agree, that is harder than hauling around windows and installing windows like my dad does, or like Kenny's HVAC units that are...
Yeah, being a mom, I haven't signed up for that job, but I see that's pretty hard.
Sorry, I really have to disagree with you on that.
Oh.
But I love your show, and thank you so much for continuing to do your show. And I'm amazed that I was brave enough to call in.
Hey.
So have a great day and a nice weekend. Thank you.
Hey, there you go.
Well, Kimberly, appreciate the nice correction.
Yes.
That was very pleasant.
I think the question I got the most last week was, "Where's JBo?" Well,
did you tell him I won the lotto and peaced out?
Sayonara.
No, all I was saying was that you were safe. And that was my general answer. Now, you're safe, but you're going to be back this week. And we're so grateful to have you back, JBo. It's so good to see your face. And,
it's good to see you, too.
There's like this warmth when JBo enters a room. And I felt it immediately when you walked in.
That's kind. Thank you.
It was chilly. There were icicles starting to freeze over inside our workplace.
It's true. I don't even need this jacket.
Right, exactly.
Take your jackets off, guys.
So, JBo, I don't really know how you want to share what you were going through last week and why you were out, but I'm just going to hand it over to you and share however you want.
So last week I received a phone call from my mom that my stepdad had collapsed at work. And it was towards the end of last week. And I rushed out to go be with my family. And we spent some time in the hospital just praying over my dad and playing worship music. And unfortunately, in a sense, God called my dad home on a lifelong fishing trip. And my grief is for a lot of reasons. Like, I know that he's resting, I know that he's at peace. I know that he's in heaven. I know that when I leave this earth and I get to see him, we'll reunite once again. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
My grief is for my mom who lost her husband, and for me who lost my dad, and my nieces and nephews who lost their pop, as they would call him. And he just had so many plans. Like next month, my oldest nephew graduates high school, and my dad was looking forward to that. He was like, oh man, I can't wait for all of us to be back together. And he was harassing my mom about getting an Airbnb. My mom's like, listen, we're going to get it. Relax, calm down. We're going to get it. And he was like, no, there's not going to be a house for us to hang out at. And he was looking forward to that. And he was looking forward to retiring in June and just being able to do a lot more things around the house. I'm sure my mom had a honey-do list waiting for him, and he was looking forward to just spending more time with her and his grandkids and going fishing more. And so there's that grief of that, of like how he never got a chance to do those things. And I was telling my husband, Archie, that, it's so easy for us to be like, oh, next time I'll do this or next time I'll do that. And not to be a Debbie Downer, but sometimes we don't get it next time,
Yeah.
When my parents came to visit me back in October, there's this kind of pirate-looking ship that comes across on the river where I live. And you can see it from my apartment building. And I told my dad, like, oh, next time you come, we'll go on that ship. I don't get it next time.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. And I know life is just like that. Sometimes you do get it next time, and that's great. But sometimes you don't. So I'm just holding on to like the really good memories, of my dad. I remember when he used to work the evening shift fueling planes at the airport, he would come home with like a sack of cheeseburgers, and like he'd wake us up out of bed and we'd be in bed, my brother and I, getting ready to, fall asleep and go for school the next day. And he'd wake us up out of bed with cheeseburgers. And so
that's dreamy.
Yeah, it is dreamy for real. And so we could smell the burgers in our dream. That's how dreamy it was. And last week when I was with my family and my nieces and nephews, his grandkids were all in the same house. We were all in the same house. My husband Archie and I, we stepped out and we came back as they were falling asleep with a sack of cheeseburgers. But I got beautiful to share that with them and tell them that story. And that's just, my dad was just a really chill dude. Whenever we'd go on vacation and hang out, every once in a while, my mom always loved to drive. So my dad was always a passenger prince. You've heard the expression, the passenger princess. But my mom loved to drive. And so we went on family vacation about a year ago, and my husband Archie was driving this time. My mom was in the back seat with my dad, and my mom was telling my husband, "Oh, be careful, be careful, Archie," and telling my husband how to drive. And he's a great driver.
He's in the military.
Yeah, right. He knows how to drive.
Yeah.
And my dad looks over at my mom, and he's like, "Grace, stop telling this man how to drive. He knows how to drive. If you keep on, they're not going to pick us up anymore and take us places." And then he leans over and looks at my husband in the front seat, and he says, "You can come pick me up whenever you want. I have no problem with the way you drive." So he was always just a very chill dude. And so I'm just holding on to those really good memories.
Well, JBo, I'm so grateful that you're sharing that and you're back. And, I think what I noticed most when we caught up over the weekend, and I'm talking about 2 weekends ago, is that there's just this peace in your voice that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you know exactly where he is.
I do.
And so we love you, JBo. We're so grateful to have you back.
Thank you.
When I say we missed you, we really missed you. I was actually interviewing some listeners of our show after our last show last week without you.
Okay.
And they had some interesting feedback about you being out.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
So how was the show last week without JBo?
It was horrible. Misery. Yeah.
Without JBo?
Yes, without JBo. Yeah, it was horrible.
Does she make it that much better?
She makes it so much better.
I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting some sort of positive reaction, at least like something encouraging.
I'm sure. All right,
well, I'm gonna keep working on my craft.
Please do.
How was your week listening to the radio without JBo last week?
That makes me very unsettled. I got in my car, I was on the way to work, the only thing that keeps me going throughout the day, and then I hear on the radio that JBo's not there. So you know what I did? I quit my job.
She quit her job because you weren't here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, go back.
And this is really
Tell him you changed your mind.
Messing people's lives up. You quit your job because JBo wasn't on the show last week?
Yeah, why are you still here?
No, I was at my job. I was doing the work.
Yeah, but JBo wasn't there, so why didn't you just leave?
I'll pass the message along.
Good.
I mean, I couldn't believe that. I was like, really? Like, that big of an impact? So how was the week without JBo?
TJ, I go to bed every night, and I just have this dream that JBo is back.
Yeah, she was dreaming about you every night, JBo, and then you could imagine what happened when she'd wake up the next day.
Every day, my dreams are not coming true, and it's, yeah.
Well, she's going to be back on Monday.
Oh,
So it's not going to be horrible forever.
we miss you, JBo.
I actually thought I did a pretty good job by myself, but I guess...
You did okay.
Okay, thank you.
So
You guys did great. I've heard great things about you guys, and I was gone.
the reviews are in, and I just did okay
No.
without you, JBo.
No.
So it's good to have you back for so many reasons. Now,
Thank you.
her dreams are coming true.
Oh, I hope the other girl goes back and gets her job.
Well,
Because she got to pay them bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I can't do that for you, sis.
that's how I would advise her, but she doesn't take me seriously enough. So there you go. You heard it from JBo, lady.
Maybe she could take my job. I mean, I wasn't even mentioned.
I know. Yeah, Heather was mostly hanging out on your microphone last week. I thought she did a very nice job.
I believe it. I'm sure she killed it.
Doesn't matter what I think, though.
No, you guys probably killed it. I know you guys did a great job without me.
What the listeners are saying. For 2 weekends in a row, this movie Civil War has been #1 at the box office. And I see that, and it just is depressing to me. And maybe I'm guessing wrong about what the movie's about. I mean, I've seen a preview trailer for it. I've read a little bit about it. And what I'm gathering is, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's not a take on today's world, and it's not political, right? It's just like a dystopian future America not too far off where somehow America is split. Nothing like what's happening now. And then people start fighting, and it just makes me sad.
Well, I mean, it's art, TJ. I mean, these are stories. You can go back to George Orwell's 1984, The Hunger Games. There are countless books and movies that tackle this kind of subject matter. I will agree, perhaps this is a poorly timed release for this film because it does bring up those kinds of thoughts, but
That are very intentional.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, and I haven't seen it yet, this movie doesn't tackle the specifics of what we're going through now.
I guess my feeling is there's so much division already. Now we've got this movie, and everyone's going to
Right.
see it. It feels weird.
Maybe it feels weird because the term Civil War has been used during this season that we're in as far as politics and right and left. And so if that's already in your mind, and now there's a movie that's coming out called Civil War, you can't help but think that they're tied together.
Yeah, like, can we have a movie where, I don't know, two friends go gardening and building their garden together? Like, hey, we're in this together.
I wouldn't watch that. That is the most boring
just
movie
something
ever.
where, all right, well, let's go
Lame.
grocery shopping together. Like,
Wouldn't
hey,
watch that either.
You run to the milk section, I'll go to the bread, and we'll come together at the end, and we'll do it in half the time. Just something where we come together.
But if we have, then movies aren't going to be any good.
That's not a sellout, I'll tell you that.
But is the movie really good? Like, producer Heather, you know about this movie because you want to see it too. This came up last week. And tell me, like, how they're not saying anything at all. Talk about interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie yet because, I mean, if Allison Kenny's girlfriend was cool, we already would have saw it. But
I need to know the 411 on that.
By the way, more on that in a few moments because there's an interview and a follow-up to that. We'll catch you up soon.
But what I've heard about it is that, yeah, there's no, like, if you're going into it thinking it's going to be like Democrat versus Republican or blue versus red, it's not like that. They don't really even get into why they're fighting or why there's two different sides. They just show the fighting.
Yeah. Not even making an interesting take.
Yeah,
just
but
this,
why-
like, boring...
That's what fiction is, TJ. You don't need to make a take. This is an alternate reality. This is a work of fiction. It's beautiful. It's storytelling.
As long as life doesn't imitate art, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, well, now it seems like art's imitating life, but they're not really saying what they're imitating, so it just was confusing. But anyway, the much bigger story that is interesting, that maybe there will be a movie about one day, that I will definitely see, is Heather asked Kenny to go see this movie. And I said, you should probably ask your girlfriend first, which I think you were planning on doing anyway. And she declined to comment. When Kenny,
that's a movie I definitely watch.
I mean, JBo, we went on the radio, we teased, like, this commercial ran all day. Tom, on the next TJ show, you're going to hear, what does Allison say? And then she said,
I missed a lot last week.
yeah, I refused to do the interview. Well, Kenny got the interview over the weekend, and we got an answer. Why is she not okay, or is she not okay with Kenny going to the movies alone with our producer, Heather? I have my take. I tend to be team girlfriend if she does indeed think that.
And she refused the interview originally? Oh, this is good.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a few moments. It's all coming up on the TJ Show. This edition of the TJ Show, it's sponsored by BetterHelp. How easy is it, JBo, to ignore our social battery and spread ourselves too thin?
Unfortunately, I've done it too many times.
Yeah, and social gatherings, they have a way of picking up after the winter especially.
Right.
What's the right amount of socializing? How do you determine that? Well, it starts with knowing ourselves, knowing what can we handle. How do we get there? Self-awareness. Oh, what a gift. Anyone who gets the gift of self-awareness, your life has to change. How does it stay? Have you been there, right, JBo?
Yeah, self-awareness changed my life.
Therapy is a way that I've found. It's helped me better understand myself, which actually helps me to better serve and be around other people. And so if you've ever considered it even a little bit, I encourage you to try therapy. Go to betterhelp.com/TJ. You fill out a questionnaire, you get linked up with a licensed therapist. If for some reason it's not a fit, you can switch therapists anytime, no additional fee. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/TJ today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TJ.
Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs you with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/Spotify. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation, subscription required, cancel anytime.
This is the TJ Show. JBo, while you were out last week, you missed some drama that popped up on the show.
I keep hearing about it. Please fill me in.
Yeah, let me catch you up about how this all started. It started with producer Heather.
So I have a question for Kenneth. So there's a movie that we both want to see. My husband does not want to go see it. I don't think your sweet, innocent Allison would want to see this movie. So would it be weird if, I asked just Kenny to go to the movies?
Well, I asked Allison if she would be willing to record an interview about this, and she politely declined.
What's going on, Heather?
Did I start something that's bad?
She declined the interview.
Oh, no.
Which we were all somewhat confused about. Even my wife Jess asked, what's going on? Why did she decline the interview? I said, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if she decides she wants to do the interview.
Well, I think the reason she didn't want to do an interview with me last week is because we hadn't had the opportunity to actually talk about this ourselves.
Okay.
So we've since talked about it privately, and now we have something to play back for you.
How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine.
You are?
Fine.
Did you go see the movie yet?
I have not seen it.
Well,
all right,
I know where this is
let's
going.
hear it from the girlfriend, Allison, her own words.
Hi, Kenny.
So a big deal has been made out of this movie thing with Heather.
It sure has.
I know, I'm sorry.
Because we had a really busy, overwhelming week after moving.
Yeah.
So, worrying about a silly question like, am I worried about you and Heather, isn't really at the top of my to-do list.
Does she sound annoyed by it?
Ooh, no, she sounds very matter-of-fact.
Okay.
But I love Heather. That's nothing against Heather. I love her even more because I'm not worried about you and Heather.
She says she's not worried.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Would you have a problem with me and Heather going to see the movie?
I don't know. It's just that you and I had already talked about going to see that movie together. So it feels a little bit like I'd be being swapped out.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, that has to be a threesome then.
See, I didn't even think about that, but when she brought that concern up to me, I totally heard her point.
Is that what you do? You go,
That was kind of like an aw.
This is. Let me think about this.
So you would go see that movie with me?
Of course. I love going to the movies with you.
It's my favorite thing to do is go to the movies with you. And hold your hand and kiss you when it gets boring.
Oh, he's rebuilding the boat that's sinking.
And it's okay if I don't like the movie. I'm still going to be there and enjoying it with you.
Now, Kenny knows that you probably won't like that movie based on the Oppenheimer situation.
Right.
And so you're trying to do her a favor. But, yeah, I mean, is he going to have a good time with someone who doesn't want to see the movie? I don't know. That's another debate.
I think all of this, kind of came out of a good place. I think Heather realized that her husband didn't want to see it. I knew that Allison likely didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
We thought we were doing them a favor.
Did you say thanks a lot to Heather yet for all the time she wasted?
Not yet.
At home?
It's okay that I saw Oppenheimer. Now I know it's a boring movie instead of just thinking it's a boring movie.
Okay.
Can Heather come with us to go see Civil War?
Sure.
Heather, you're third wheeling with us.
Lewis can come too if he wants.
I don't think he wants to see it.
All right, then Heather can come too.
Okay.
JBo,
JBo, you want to come see it?
Didn't ask me to go for some reason.
She already knows you don't want to go.
Doesn't want to hang out with me for some reason.
You want to see movies about people picking flowers where the world is
Right.
happy-go-lucky.
Oh, man. Well, good. I guess, Kenny, good job. Good job communicating.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation that we had. But, I'm happy we talked it out.
So, Heather, you're going to go alone?
Well, yeah, now I'm going to go alone. But that was a test for your relationship and you passed. Good job, Kenny.
There you go.
Heather, you were just looking out for us.
Yeah. I was at the playground with my kids over the weekend, and they were like, Daddy, can you push me on the swing? They should just know how to use their feet to go up and down.
So sweet.
Like, there was this little boy who was about 3 swings down.
Okay.
And he's just this, like, rambunctious kid. He's, like,
Right.
jumping around, swinging on the handlebars, running to the swing.
He's a kid at a park. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like way more energy than I ever had in my whole life. Even as a kid, he's like quadrupling my energy. I go, look at this guy over here. He's a champion. Look how he's using his legs. I was like trying to encourage him,
Right.
like you're doing a good job. And so my kids try to do it, and I still got to push them.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm pushing them, they're cracking up. They're having a great time. And this little girl looks at me and goes, can you push me on the swing too? And I just have a clear line in the sand. I go, no, so unfortunately, I'm not allowed to push any kids but my own.
That's right. Where's your mom and dad?
And she was shocked by my very clear boundary. Sorry, can't do it. I wish the rules were different.
I wish the rules
No,
were different.
I didn't tell her those are my rules, but I'm like, I'm not going to push
She
some.
don't know that.
I don't want to push some random kid on the swing, but I feel bad. I'm like, I don't know, where's her parent?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's chatting it up with the other parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to the playground with their kids, but the adults are having playground time chatting
Exactly.
about nonsense. Would you push a random kid on the swing?
I think I would just be like, okay, cool. And I would do it. But then as I'm doing it, I would be thinking, oh, it's probably a bad idea.
Okay.
Just because I don't want a parent to come up to me and say, what are you doing? Or read it wrong. People are weird.
Yeah, like she's asking me for a 1950s request when it was cool.
Right.
Yeah, come on, come to the park and everyone can push everyone around. Is that how they talked in the 50s?
Yeah.
Parents, push.
See?
Yeah, would you, Kenny?
I'll put you on a swing, see? Yeah, why don't you come over here?
Because Kenny goes to the playground still as an adult, just
I
because he
hope
wants
not.
to. You're still a child. If some kid asks you to push them, would you say yes or no?
I think I'm with JBo. My first instinct would be, sure, why not? But then you think about it for 5 seconds, and like, what if the kid falls off the swing? And
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you're
Who needs it?
liable.
Or you push them too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
What do they call that when you push a kid so far that you run underneath them and it's like the highest you can push them? My kids asked me to do that. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know the terminology for that.
Were you ever that kid that can jump off swings and like
No.
do flips?
Oh, yeah.
I was too afraid, man.
No, we used to have, what's interesting actually, in my hometown, I was driving past my middle school and they used to have this big tire playground there and kids used to like beat each other up on that. They'd have this game where they'd be pushing each other off. I would always watch. I never wanted to get involved. They completely removed the tire playground and now it's just an empty space of wood chips. And I'm like, how boring is that?
What is this?
But it was probably because they got tired of kids getting hurt. I mean, kids were like jumping from one tire swing. Yes, camera guy Josh.
Well, in a district next to me, they actually have banned swings altogether. They're taking them out of all the playgrounds across the county. Yep, because statistically, that is where the most students are getting hurt on the swings.
I would think it was the slide, not the swings.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You know what? This is a very serious discussion. I do opt towards safety. But my wife goes the other way. I mean, she wants the kids to be safe, but she knows about the research, and I've done a lot of reading about it. We are protecting our kids from, quote, getting hurt to a point where it's actually hurting them more.
Yes.
Because they're not developing in the way, they're calling it like the iPhone generation or the smartphone generation. If you're interested in reading about this, there's a guy named Jonathan Haidt, and he wrote a book, and it's called The Coddling of the American Mind, and he's written other works. But he's done so much research with other people about how much keeping our kids, quote, safe is actually putting them more at risk.
It's harming them.
So that's wild they're taking away the swing set. If you're a coffee drinker like me, you're probably scratching your head wondering, what could I do with these coffee grounds? Like, I wish I could find some use for them because it just seems like such a waste. And I'm obsessed with coffee, but I just love it so much. This is an interesting take on this. I'd never heard this before, but apparently they've done some research on it. For many people around the U.S., we're dealing with mosquitoes, and they're so annoying. I mean, who has an affection for mosquitoes? There's a spider that I know that eats them.
Yeah.
He loves them.
Yeah, he's a
Good spider.
But other than that, I've never heard a good story about a mosquito. in order to keep the mosquitoes at bay, this National Library of Medicine study shows that the scent of coffee grounds repels mosquitoes very well and even inhibits its ability to reproduce.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Like, it seems based on this that it's so grossed out by the smell of coffee that it's like, ew, I don't even want to do that.
I can't even make babies.
Yeah, I can't even do, which is amazing. And I'm like, wow, this is great. And so they're suggesting you take either used or fresh. In my case, it's going to be used,
Right.
not wasting fresh coffee grounds on that. Putting it in a jar and putting it in strategic locations around your home, like on your patio. Some have even claimed that if you put a little lighter fluid in the coffee or throw it into your fire pit, it'll create an even stronger fog and smell. Now, I don't know if that's safe or not, but I'm willing to try it. According to this study, they seem to
You try
say,
it first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, next little bonfire.
It always weirds me out to burn random stuff like that because you don't know what you're inhaling and how that affects you. So I'm more inclined to want to put it in the jar. But so cool that apparently this works so well, and they've seen some tests where it's proven to keep them away. They also claim that it's good to keep pests away like ants, wasps, fleas, and a bunch of others. Helps repel mice and other rodents.
Oh, wow. That's great.
I don't mind if mice are around as long as they're just like keeping to themselves and not coming into the house.
Yeah.
But I could picture like one mouse, the advanced mouse with the glasses on,
Yeah.
the little tiny glasses,
Yeah.
figuring out that he could use the coffee beans to find a new drink for his community. But
Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
yeah, really. I mean, who knows where that's going? But they also stress that it's not actually killing the mosquitoes or other pests. It's just grossing them out enough to stay away, which is
That's great.
awesome. I'm going to try it. We're going to see. I'll check my skin every day and release
you
my own
go.
test results soon enough. This is another one, and I'm glad they're doing this. They're trying to protect coffee plants from getting diseases, and we need that. We need researchers who are doing this. Probably fellow coffee lovers are trying to figure this out. And they discovered that the main species of plant, the Arabica bean, you always see that on the coffee boxes and the bags, that takes up about 60 to 70% of the global coffee market. This one species has been around for about 600,000 years, according to their research. Apparently, they crossbred in the wild and on their own created this bean, which is so interesting to me.
What?
Yeah, really fascinating stuff. I don't know why there's so much coffee news today. There's also, and this is a creepy one, there's a roastery in Finland. They decided to take all of their different beans, type it into an AI chat, and say, can you make the best blend? And it surprised them because usually they only use 2 or 3 different flavors, but this one suggested 4. They blind taste tested, and they said it somewhat weirdly chose to arrange the flavors in such a way that they're perfect and they need no human adjustments. And they love it. And they even bagged it up, and now they're calling it the AI Conic Blend.
And they're serving it up to people?
Yeah, and you can buy it. It's Kaffa Roastery in Finland. I'm just like, man, that's pretty impressive. It's weird how AI continues to surprise us in a positive way while it's seemingly taking over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Camera guy Josh told me that he just met someone this weekend that makes my coffee addiction look like child's play.
You gotta step your game up.
What's the wait? So tell me, this sounds like this was a problem.
Yeah, I was talking to this man and he told me, yeah, back in my 20s, I was sent to the ER because I had over 27 cups of coffee, a high 20s number cups of coffee in a day.
That's
and
insane.
it put him in the hospital.
Yeah, I think too much of anything, even if it's a good thing.
27
I thought he
cups
was
of coffee
joking.
a day?
I thought he was kidding, but he wasn't.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that is shocking. And you know, there are more of those types of things happening than we think. Like, I have a friend who's addicted to energy drinks, and he has a number of those a day. I think there are many cups of coffee in one of those, if you're talking
Yes.
about caffeine
Right.
content.
Oh, yeah.
So was it because of kidney stones that it went to the hospital? Was it caffeine?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't really know. I couldn't wrap my mind around what I had just heard.
Well,
so
how do you-
my follow-up question.
As a journalist, Josh, how do you not pull out a microphone and start interviewing this man
You're absolutely
immediately?
right. You're absolutely
Like,
right.
if I'm out and I meet someone new and they've got a story like that, I go, can you hold on one second? And I go,
please.
how would you feel about coming on my show?
You're right.
And I interview them right on the spot because that's a wild story. So is he still drinking coffee today?
He is. I did ask him that. I said, well, did you stop? He said, no. Are you kidding me? I was like, are you down to like 1 or 2 cups? He's like, yeah, in the first like hour I'm awake.
Are you kidding me?
He's down to 17 now,
Oh
Jay.
my gosh.
Oh, it's
Well, at least he
nuts.
pulled back. His 17 cups.
Yeah, that is interesting. Please get an interview with this man.
Yeah, maybe I could try. I could try to ask him some questions.
TJ, you have some working to do because
Yeah.
we have 3 cups a day. That's all you have, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's even just 2.5. And
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I've got to up my game.
Yeah, you do.
That's unbelievable to me. You know, the other night I was drinking coffee like before it was bedtime, and my wife Jess is like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm actually not going to bed. I am taking a nap. I'm going to experiment." You know, this is another thing you missed last week. We read this caffeine nap research, which claims that if you drink a cup of coffee and then very quickly nap, it'll wake you up when it goes into your system in about 30 minutes.
So when you wake up refreshed from the nap, but also from the caffeine intake.
Yeah, it's like you're tricking your body. You know, you're going to fall asleep, and then boom, in a half an hour, it's going to hit your system. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it works.
You know, what alarms me the most is how much this man reminds me of TJ and how he talks about coffee. So I'm a little worried for
like
TJ in the future. He even talks about like, oh, you know, if you put creamer and all this other junk in there, it's just coffee flavored milk.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've
and
said
just
that.
all these types of things. I'm like, I think TJ's going down a bad path.
Well, this is great. You know, Josh is in training for the Spartan race right now, where he's going through all these obstacles, and I need training for drinking more coffee.
Yeah,
you don't need more coffee. You don't need to end up in the hospital.
It's not good.
If he just stopped at like 25 cups, he'd probably still be doing 25 cups a day. Well, anyway, get this guy on the show if he's willing, and we've got questions.
Yes.
This is
that deserve answers.
These are the people we're doing life with. See, if you don't ask people about their story, you would never know. You know when you haven't seen a friend for a while, and you're trying to catch up on everything that they've missed?
Yes.
Well, this has happened with JBo, and we were missing her dearly last week. And there was so much you missed from the show last week.
I know, I missed you guys.
Well, we took it upon ourselves to put together a list so we could catch you up on all the things that you missed. We're excited to tell you about it. You know, there was a moment last week where Kenny made a big claim on the radio that Olive Garden had a brand new dessert. And then listener Ben called in to very clearly correct him. Correct him.
Chocolate lasagna, they might have brought it back as new, but it was there for years, and they took it off the menu. I literally almost went through a depression when they took it off the menu.
JBo. Do you hear about this dessert, the chocolate lasagna?
But it sounds amazing. I love chocolate.
Wonderful.
We found that out last week. Also, last week, I shared that my kids, with me, tried a dandelion cookie. We went out and picked dandelions, weeds from the yard.
All right.
Made a different kind of weed cookie.
A weed cookie? A dandelion cookie?
Like an actual weed.
Okay.
And my daughter Willa shared the news with my mom.
Y'all need some food at home? I'll write you a check. You okay?
No, we like foraging.
Oh, okay.
I ate a dandelion cookie today.
Ew.
Yeah, we picked the dandelions.
Ew, was it gross?
They were all disgusting.
Hey, they were interested in doing it. They learned about foraging at school, so it was a big deal for us.
That's fun.
Not a great cookie. Don't bake it yourself,
Yeah,
JBo.
I don't plan on it.
We're not going to do it again. Heather had a family secret that was revealed. Did you ever know this about Heather? Listen to this.
So my mom, my dad, and my oldest brother, their firstborn, all have the same birthday. They were all born on the same day. They were all born in the same hospital. And I believe, I'm almost positive it was by the same doctor. I'd have to fact check that with my mom, but I'm pretty sure.
Check Snopes on that one. We tried to check Snopes. We couldn't find the story, but pretty wild. Did you know that?
No,
about
that's wild. I knew that her mom, dad, and her brother were all born on the same day, but I didn't know by the same doctor.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. I guess you told JBo before you told us.
We have
found
lunch
out.
together, you know? We
Oh,
hang
okay,
out.
good. Yeah, and JBo asked a lot of questions, so
I
that
do.
makes sense. Kenny, who moved in with his girlfriend officially last week, recorded himself for the very first time eating donuts in his underwear on the couch.
Oh my gosh!
I know, it was pretty horrible, but
Poor Allison!
I didn't want you to miss this.
Is this so good? I can't help it.
This is what it's gonna be like all the time now. I can't wait.
Me in my underwear eating crummy donuts. And you'll have to clean up all the crumbs.
Did you catch that? He said that she's going to have to clean
Oh
up the
no, I
crumbs.
caught that. Was it powdered sugar donuts?
It was Entenmann's Devil's Food Crumb
Oh,
Donuts.
those are your favorite, aren't they?
I love them.
Now, she very quickly said, I'll show you where the broom is.
Yeah,
So,
good for her.
Yeah, she's not taking that.
Way to go, Allison.
There's no way. But there's more, JBo. Kenny released Allison's cat, this cat will not even look at him. For a full year, they've been dating. The cat has not allowed Kenny to touch it. He finally touched it.
See?
I pet her!
Now, you couldn't have cared that much.
I was so excited,
No,
TJ.
come on. Make that sound again. No, we were
I
debating.
thought that was the cat for a second. I was like, oh my goodness, what happened?
Yeah, we were debating whether or not he was putting that on to score a couple extra points. And then finally, we weren't kidding around. So many people missed you, JBo, including our listener, Zach, who checked in.
I'm glad JBo's back. We missed her. Kids
Yeah.
are like, I haven't heard JBo in a while because we listen to the TJ show every day going to school.
Now, he thought you were back, but you weren't yet.
Or taking them to school.
Oh, that's great.
And they're like, where's JBo?
And I explained, well, she's coming back on Monday. So
I'm
look,
here.
and now you're here, and now you're caught up.
Thank you for catching me up.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate that.
No problem. It's so good to have JBo back with us today.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep, while you're listening to me talk, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you could save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
This episode is brought to you by Smart Food Popcorn. Some decisions aren't the best, like skipping ahead in your favorite podcast. Think of all the banter you'll miss, the lore in the making. Luckily, Smart Food Popcorn is a no-brainer. Deliciously tasty and available in a variety of fun flavors. It's a smart decision every time. Smart Food. Add smart. To learn more, visit smartfood.com.
This is the TJ Show, our news. It sounds a whole lot different around here. Kenny reads through every story he can find, and then he brings us the most interesting ones. Kenny, what is happening on the planet today?
The actress Mariska Hargitay from Law & Order SVU has been playing the role of Captain Olivia Benson on the show since 1999. They were recently filming an episode at a park in New York City, and she was mistaken as an actual police officer by an 11-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah, well, that could happen.
Yeah, she was wearing a badge.
Understood.
Made sense. The girl was separated from her mother, and Mariska Hargitay took her role as a police officer to the next level, halted the production for over 20 minutes.
Wow.
To make sure that this little girl was reunited with her mom.
See, we keep seeing real life reflecting movies, and now the movies are getting involved with real life. But that's a great story. Glad to hear that.
The little girl's name was Alyssa, and Hargitay posted on Instagram saying, Alyssa, first and foremost, I am so relieved and grateful to know you are safe, and I am honored to be a part of your incredible story. You are one brave, strong, and smart young woman.
Love that. Kenny, what else do you have?
In Japan, scientists are excited at some new developments in testing a new high-tech way of healing broken bones. The method uses plasma irradiation. Don't ask me what that means, but they say it allows for faster bone healing in complex fractures. They've successfully tested this technique on lab rats, and they say not only do the bones heal quicker, but the areas of the irradiation treatment have bones healing 3.5 times stronger than areas where they weren't treated in that fashion.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Well, we're going to be like radiating. Does it turn to metal? Like, do we get to be the Terminator?
All I do know is
Come
that
with me if you
a
want
lot
to
of
live.
times these complex fractures require surgery and the patient's immobilized for a long period
Wow.
of time. So the scientists credit this development to the collaboration between the medical and engineering fields for creating this and other new medical technologies that we wouldn't know otherwise.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Fans of the Spice Girls, I know JBo,
You know
super
it.
excited that the original members were reunited to celebrate Victoria Beckham's, a.k.a. Posh Spice's 50th birthday over the weekend.
Man, when I saw that on social over the weekend, I was like, I wish I was in that room. Huge fan. Huge fan.
Yeah, you want to be?
I do want to be, yeah.
Now, the Spice Girls toured back in
Stop.
2019 without Victoria. The last time they performed together was at the 2012 London Olympics closing ceremony. So, of course, speculation, does this mean they're getting back together?
Stop right now. Thank you very much.
Kenny, what else do you have?
A couple in England was surprised, to say the least, to find something hiding behind the toilet in their bathroom.
Give me alligator. Come on.
Oh, not an alligator. That's like the worst
What do
thing
you
can
say it's going to
find.
be?
I don't know. Gold.
Gold. All right.
I'll
give
take
me
gold.
What do we got?
Big money, no whammies. No, it was a stone-carved medieval gargoyle.
Ooh, is that worth anything? I guess it is, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. But the thing is, it's kind of a protected house. It's in this historical region, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to do anything with it.
Can't do nothing with it.
Not
Just stay right there.
To mention, the couple is renting the home, so they probably shouldn't have even been able to take down the shelf that they did. But they do think it belonged to a 14th century church. Apparently, this home is owned by Lincoln Cathedral and is believed to be the home of a former vicar. So they think there's more stuff in there, but they're not going to be the ones to find it.
What's a vicar?
Is that a Viking?
No, a vicar is like an office of the Church of England.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
You know,
Learned something new today.
Kind of like a bishop, perhaps, in the Catholic Church. It's similar to that.
Do you think they stole the gargoyle?
I don't think so.
You're creating a whole story. That's not even part of the story.
It's a 14th century prank.
And it was stolen.
They're going to think it walked away. Where do we put it? Behind
TikTok.
the toilet. Yeah, that was the TikTok of the 14th century right there. Kenny, what else do you have?
Paste magazine had a negative review of Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department.
Uh-oh.
I think I saw the New York Times put out, I don't know if it was an opinion piece or something, and it wasn't this extremely favorable review, which I was like, oh, well, I guess that's another way to generate clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. But
Or do people genuinely not like it? I guess that's possible too. We just assume everyone loves everything Taylor does.
Yeah, exactly. But I think what's interesting here is that the magazine did not list the name of any specific writer or writers to this article. Instead, the byline read, Paste staff.
Why is that?
The magazine said they did this because they received threats of violence when the magazine published a negative article about her 2019 album, Lover.
Well, Lover is a great album, but I wouldn't threaten anybody's life over their opinion about it.
Well, that sounds like a mature stance, JBo.
Yeah,
well, would you do it? You would listen to it.
Right.
And not
That's
really
it.
care what anyone thinks.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, the review in the Paste magazine said the Tortured Poets Department's midness was the result of the artist making no longer... The review
Are you getting
said,
choked up, Kenny?
Yeah, I am, because I'm a Swiftie. No, the review said that the Tortured Poets Department's midness was the result of when the artist making it no longer feels challenged, where she strikes out looking. That's what
I need to say this from my friend Kenny. He is simply quoting something he read in the news article. Please do not come from my friend Kenny. Do not call, do not DM, do not email. That is just something that he's relating to you.
A poignant warning. Thank you very much, JBo.
I am a Swiftie, and I am outraged by this article.
You know what? I'm surprised that anyone still has like a column where they're reviewing movies or music. Everyone's a reviewer now. You just turn on your social media. It's amazing that there's a place for that still.
Good point.
What else do you have, Kenny?
We're learning that workers at the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee have overwhelmingly voted to join the United Auto Workers Union.
So is that a good thing? I assume yes, right?
It depends on your side of the coin, but this is the first time a non-union plant in the South has joined the UAW. And this isn't the first time the UAW has tried to unionize at this Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga. There have been 2 previous votes that failed. However, this time around, the union was able to get more support after it managed to secure major pay gains last year in the Detroit's Big 3 automakers strike. You may remember that at the end of last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are some real benefits to people fighting for you and having a standard.
Yeah.
You can't cross over a line. And that, I mean, I've seen some really great stories from some unions. I'm not super familiar with them, but from ones I've seen, it looks like a good thing.
Sure. Now, many government officials in the South said that the non-union factories they have there are a big reason why the region is thriving economically. For instance, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp said the model down here is working. So the UAW wants to unionize at more plants in the South. Their next stop is the Mercedes-Benz plant in Alabama next month.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Well, we've seen this story before. Your reusable water bottle may be a breeding ground for harmful bacteria.
These stories keep coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's connected or not, but my kids recently had strep throat. And then they got it again. And it's like, can we get rid of these water bottles? I mean, we throw them in the dishwasher. We try to clean them. But sometimes they grab them. And no, wait, we have to clean that first. Oh, sorry, Nana. No, it's not ready yet. It's sitting on the counter for a reason. And so it does complicate life a little bit, but I hear it's better for the environment.
Yeah, and strep is one of those harmful bacteria that they're talking about specifically here. But here are some things that they say you could do to prevent your risk. They say stick to just water in these bottles to lessen the bacterial growth. Keep your water bottles out of spots where they might heat up. Don't leave it in your car, for instance, when it gets warmer. The bacteria like that. Rinse it after every day's use and give it a good washing once a week, preferably by hand with a special bottle brush.
Every day. I want to adjust that.
You wash your tumbler every day?
Yeah, when I was using it, absolutely. You have to.
Every day?
Every day. That's why I hate them.
To your point,
it's a lot of work.
Avoid sharing water bottles with anyone else. The doctor said if it's your saliva and just water, it's not usually a big deal. But when you share it, you're introducing other contaminants. And according to this doctor, your best bets are bottles with a wide mouth, which make them easy to clean and dry. Those with a built-in straw that keep your hands away from it if possible. That's what he said.
Man, they're just attacking the Stanley, huh?
No, Stanley would qualify there.
Oh, because you can remove the straw, right?
I can remove and clean the straw, and then because of the straw, I'm not putting my hands near the straw, which is where bacteria may be hiding.
Kenny, you're covered. What else do you have?
Yes. In Long Island, or I should say on Long Island, restaurants appear to be participating in this new trend, which is requiring restaurant goers to leave their credit card if they want to make a reservation.
Yeah, probably because people just cancel last minute.
Yeah.
And they're left wondering what to do about those tables.
That's exactly it. One restaurant owner talked about this high-demand show they were putting on a Saturday night. Somebody called a reservation in for a table of 12. They didn't show up. He called, and they were obviously at another restaurant.
Yeah, that's not cool because then that business loses money. Those heads and those seats are counted for.
I'm walk-in guy, JBo. I just hope they have a table, and I'm shocked when they don't.
Oh, that's risky.
And I hope that someone cancels, right when I walk in.
Yeah, well, you'd be helping them out. And this practice started during the COVID pandemic, especially when these restaurants were often half capacity. So losing out on one of those reservations hurt them twice as much. But they kept with it. They say it does deter people. There are fewer show-ups or no-shows or last-minute cancellations. But, of course, people on Facebook are complaining about it nonstop.
Well, if you're going to do that as a restaurant, your food better be very good. Better not be average.
Also,
That's right.
Oftentimes they say they don't charge people if they do call and cancel appropriately. It's really just these no-shows or these true last-minute situations where they'll get hit with a $20 fee.
Oh, $20?
Per head.
Yeah.
Keep that party small.
That's a salmon in some restaurants.
Yes, seriously.
Kenny, thank you for keeping us somewhat informed.
That's what's happening.
I think it's fair to say that we all love the Earth around here, right, JBo? Big fans?
Oh, yeah.
Big
Other
fans.
things come from the Earth.
Great planet. Happy to be on it.
Yeah. Same. It's
every
my
day.
favorite.
Yeah, my favorite of all the planets.
Today is Earth Day. And, we tend to celebrate it in a unique way around here every year. We honor that story about my friend Phil, who brought home a little tiny tree on Earth Day when he was just a wee kindergartner.
Yeah.
And I called up my friend Phil's dad to share that story as we reminisce about all the wonderful things that have happened on this earth. You remember when Phil brought home that little tiny tree and it was for Earth Day?
Oh, yeah, the little tree, and we planted it, and the thing grew to 60 feet, and it cost me $3,000 to have it taken down.
That's what I remember. And so this thing kept growing. Yeah, he just brought home an innocent little tree. They planted it in front of their house, and it kept growing larger and larger. And then his driveway started exploding.
Yeah, I'm sure. You thought that tree was cute.
And it started uprooting your driveway, right?
That's correct. It's absolutely correct. It was right in my driveway, right in front of my front door. It probably cost $5,000 because I had to repair my driveway, do my gutters, redo my gutters.
How did it get so tall?
Who knew? I mean, I didn't know. It looked like a little evergreen, like it would grow into a nice, cute little Christmas tree.
Yeah, they all look so cute when they're little. Totally surprised you.
Totally surprised me.
How long did it take to get up to 60 feet?
Probably 22 years. Never expected it.
Were you mad at... Never expected it. Well, by year 5, you could probably make an assessment. Maybe this is going in the wrong direction. Upwards.
Right.
Were you mad at Phil when you had to pay that money to get it taken down?
Well, it was my fault. I planted the tree. I shouldn't have. I wanted to plant it close to the house so that the kids could see it. Look at the tree. It's growing, how beautiful it is. And that's just how nature works. The tree kept growing. I mean, it has a lot of nerve, a tree.
That's how nature works. It grows. It keeps growing.
But it's a nervy tree.
Yeah.
It not only takes over everything, it blocks the sunlight from your house. It also attracts a lot of birds and nest building.
I don't think we're supposed to give all the reasons why trees are horrible on Earth Day.
The birds fly all over the place and on any vehicles that might be either in the street or on your car.
So this is the dark side of Earth Day.
It's good that we teach everyone about Earth Day and planting and giving back. But don't do it on my front lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Yep, there's an unusual, unpopular take on Earth Day. We are all celebrating, and we are big fans of trees growing in all different kinds of places.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was on the playground over the weekend, and through the wood chips, a little tiny maple tree was growing up. And I thought, wow, now that's a strong tree.
You know what I love to see when I see little plants come through cement?
Yeah.
How encouraging is that?
Right.
You know?
think there's not a way.
There is a way.
But-
Talk about a $5,000 tree right there.
Yeah. That's right. So happy Earth Day to you, however you're celebrating. Just for today, don't throw anything out your window. Let's start there. If you don't know how to celebrate,
please.
I saw a guy on the highway earlier today who clearly didn't get the memo that today is a special day where you
Not
take
the
care of
day
the
for
Earth.
it.
Anyway, this is the TJ Show. Thank you for turning your radio on today.